So I've got another 4-way rendering lineup for you here, and unlike in the previous one where I was using U-series CPUs, I've actually got a high-end Xeon Mobile here. So that Dell Xps 15, not the Xps 15, the Precision 15, 5510 is the model number, is using a Xeon E3 1505M, which clocks up to 3.5 gigahertz, single core, 3.2 dual core. On the left there, we've got the Toshiba Radius 12, which has got a Skylake Core i7 6500U. To the right of the Dell, we've got the Surface Book, which has got the Core i7 6600U, so a slightly higher end version of the Core i7 compared to the Radius 12. And then on the right there, the good old Surface Pro 3 with the Haswell generation, so 2 generations ago, 4500U. 4300U. So what I'm going to do, as usual, is just to kick these off on a rendering test. Same files, same program, same settings, and we've got preview enabled here. So you'll be able to see after a minute or two, you'll be able to see which is going to win, which is going to be the fastest of these 4 devices. Now it's pretty clear already that the Dell is ahead. And actually in this process, in fact, let me just lean over and get my scores here. So I've been doing a lot of testing this morning. 6 minutes 52 seconds for this test, which is an 8-minute video. And we're doing CPU only rendering here, so we haven't got quick sync enabled. CPU only rendering. On the left there, the Radius 12, actually really good at long-term performance. It doesn't throttle, and that was bringing us 9 minutes 49 seconds. Surface Book coming in slightly ahead of the Radius 12 at between 9 and 9 minutes 12 seconds. And then on the right hand side, the old Surface Pro 3, really struggling because it throttles down pretty heavily for this test, 13 minutes and 30 seconds. So the Xeon there, the big Xeon, is twice as fast as that Pro 3. Of course, that is a €3,200 bit of kit, Surface Pro 3. Well, you probably put one of those up second-hand for about €500 these days, but it's an impressive bit of kit, but only 2 times the CPU rendering performance in this test compared to the Pro 3. I also took the chance to measure the actual power usage for this job, so the area under the curve, as it were. I don't know if you ever remember back to Intel talking about hurry up, get idle, huggy. That's the actual power used for a job. It turns out that here the Book and the Radius are actually slightly more efficient than the Xeon, but the Xeon is not far behind. For the job itself, that Xeon Dell Precision 15 there in the big one in the middle is not taking much more power per job than the other 2. The Surface Pro 3 also not taking too much more power per job. They're all taking around 5 watts to get these tasks finished, but of course the Precision finishes quicker, takes a lot more power. Averages 39 watts to do the jobs. The others average around 20 to 22 watts to do these jobs. So let me run that through and you'll see that the Precision will win. Talk a little bit about heat and noise and about screen brightness at the end. So we're coming up to the end of the render now. Clearly that Dell Precision with the Xeon E3 there way ahead, and that's finished. I'm just going to check the total time. Finished in 7 minutes 12. Well, actually I've been running these tests through a number of times this morning. The Dell's heated up a little bit, so it's about 20 seconds slower than it was in my first run. But that's a good score. You might have seen me just listen and check for temperature towards the end of that test. Well, what I can say is that the Radius 12 there on the left was the noisiest. Interestingly, this thing dissipating around 40 watts of, well, that's something else we'll talk about, the battery life. Dissipating 40 watts of power during that test was fairly, well, there was some noise there, but it was a nice noise, a smooth fan noise, nothing too disturbing. Book, the quietest. Surface Pro 3, quite noisy and quite hot on the back as well. So it's interesting that battery life thing came up. We've got a 65 watt hour battery inside the Dell, so you can get around an hour and a quarter, hour and a half worth of rendering out of that before it closes down. And in that hour and a half worth of rendering, you can do twice as much as on the Surface Pro 3. The Surface Pro 3 will give you actually about the same amount of rendering time per battery. So you've got to weigh all these things up. The Dell there is 2 kilos. That Toshiba on the left is 1.3 kilos. That's probably the lightest or the most power per kilo of all 4 devices there, or efficiency per kilo of all 4 devices there. Surface Book with its 90 or 80 watt hour total battery in the base and the back there at 1.5 kilograms. I can't remember exactly how much that weighs, but it's certainly not as light as the Radius. And then the Surface Pro 3, the old one, on the right. So you've got to bear in mind, what are you going to do? I also wanted to mention screen brightness as well, because that Radius 12, with its 4K screen and it's a highly accurate, accurately calibrated screen, takes a lot of energy to get those backlight levels up as high as it does. It's obviously taking a lot of energy. So one tip for you, if you're rendering, turn the screen brightness down as much as you can, and you'll save a fair bit of power. Of those 4 devices, I think for your average mobile video renderer, the Surface Book is probably the one to go for, because you've got the NVIDIA graphics card in the base, not being used in this test by the way, but that NVIDIA graphics card in the base if you use video graphics applications that can take advantage of that NVIDIA graphics. The ultra mobile solution here, and very powerful and very surprising, is the Radius 12. No throttling. The Dell is the workstation. It's called a workstation, and in fact you can get even more power out of that if you plug it in. Under battery power, it's running around 20% less than it would under mains. So the Dell really is the workstation here. This is a device you can use all day at the desk, take with you and do a little bit of work on the train, and then connect up at the other end and carry on working. So it's an impressive bit of kit there. Also got the NVIDIA, I've even forgotten what the card is inside, but it wasn't used in this test, and now that the battery's run out, I can't even find out, but I'll put it up on the lower third here. The NVIDIA graphics cards are there. Okay, thanks for watching. That's another 4-way rendering test. I've got a few more of these in the channel, so don't forget to check them out. My name's Chippy. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me a like and a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of these videos. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching.